Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. Some more news on the head coaching front in the NFL yesterday as Ken Whisenhunt, it was announced last night, will be the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Ken Whisenhunt replaces Mike Munchak, who was almost the definition of average when he was the coach of the Titans. And, the hope of the hiring of Whisenhunt is that he can elevate that quarterback position and the Titans can take that next step towards being a playoff team. And you look at Whisenhunt's past, he obviously spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh, where he was very instrumental in the development of Ben Roethlisberger. He then goes to Arizona, and when he was in Arizona, he took the Cardinals to a Super Bowl. And when he had Kurt Warner as his quarterback, he looked very good as a head coach, quite frankly. As that quarterback position deteriorated, as he whiffed on guys like Kevin Kolb, for instance, you saw the play on the field begin to suffer. And he's no different than any other coach in the NFL, in my opinion, outside of about 2 or 3 guys, where that quarterback position needs to be solid in order for him to have any chance of succeeding. And, you look at this year. He goes to the Chargers as the offensive coordinator, is very much involved in the renaissance of Phillip Rivers' career. And the next year, 1 year after being fired by the Cardinals, Whisenhunt is a prominent name, not only for the Titans job, obviously, but many other jobs as well, including the Lions, who are another team who need to sort of get their quarterback headed in the right direction. So Whisenhunt's first order of business to me is to figure out what he wants to do with the quarterback position. Does he believe in Jake Locker long term? If he doesn't believe in Locker, is Ryan Fitzpatrick a guy he thinks he can mold? If not, they have to figure out that quarterback position first and foremost. Then you look at Chris Johnson, who's due $8 million this year. Is he worth keeping around? To me, if I'm a new coach trying to develop a new culture, I don't keep Chris Johnson around. That's just my personal opinion, but we'll see how he handles Chris Johnson. All right? And also, I think something that's underlying here that he has to make sure he does is bring in a good defensive guy, because that's a young, good, aggressive, athletic defense, and you don't want them to take a step back now. So getting a good defensive coordinator, definitely important. Trying to decide what he thinks is the long-term vision at the quarterback position, which I think would have had to come up in meetings during his interviews, obviously, and what to do with Chris Johnson. To me, the Chris Johnson situation is pretty clear-cut. There's no way, when I'm trying to build a football team, that I would bring a guy back that gets paid towards the top of what guys at his position get paid, and he's not as productive. So to me, that's a pretty easy decision, but we'll see what Whisenhunt decides. Overall, I think this is as far as for what the Titans need, I think this is a good hire. You get a guy who's proven. All right, the Titans is not the most glamorous job in the world, but they do have good ownership. Who I think, actually, it remains to be seen on their ownership. I keep thinking Bud Adams, but it remains to be seen on their ownership. They didn't give Mike Munchak, to me, the time that he probably needed to be successful. I'm sure Whisenhunt got certain assurances, during the interview and hiring process. We'll see how that plays out. But for the Titans, they get a guy who's established, a guy who's brought the team to a Super Bowl, and a guy who has a proven track record of working well with quarterbacks. And that's what they need in Tennessee. That's really been a void in this franchise since the late Steve McNair. They really have not had even an average signal caller since then, maybe outside of Locker, who's, quite frankly, always getting hurt, unfortunately. So we'll see how this plays out. I think overall a good hire by the Titans. I think they were smart to get this thing done relatively quickly after they knew Whisenhunt was their guy, because, again, he was being courted by, a couple other teams, the Lions and Cleveland most notably. So let me know what you guys thought of this hire. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, guys. Going after the NFL draft here pretty aggressively with my videos now. Continuing the playoff coverage as well. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.